some ways, at some point in your life, everybody can be a lost rider. Good morning and welcome to this weekend's edition of News from the Camp House. Listening post of the Texas Sportsmen Association. This is Herman Brun, and this weekend's edition is also brought to us by the Shaw's Bend Social Club, country club folks who don't have a country club. All right, tell you what, again, we are talking to a railroad commission candidate. In this election cycle, it seems like Jim Wright's chair has come up as a hot seat. I mean, it's everybody's after that job. And, of course, Jim Wright's running to hang on to the job. He's the current chairman of the Railroad Commission. And, you know, there's some folks that would like to take his place. And one of them, the gentleman we have with us this morning, is Hawk Dunlap. Hawk, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell my listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. I'm Hawk Dunlap. I'm a sixth-generation Texan. I'm fourth generation in the oil and gas business. I was born in Lufkin, Texas. I was raised in Longview. I attended school and graduated from Stephen F. Austin State University. I started working in the oil field as a summer job in 1991, and after graduation I took off and went overseas, and I've worked overseas pretty much for 27 years, and I came back to Texas in November of 21.
All right, you worked overseas in the oil patch?
Yes, sir. I've worked in I was unofficially voted in high school most likely never to leave Gregg County, and I've worked in travel countries.
All right, you West Africa?
Been to West Africa, been all over the Middle East, North Africa, East Africa, all over Asia. I've got 103 countries under my belt.
All right, you were okay. I'm just taking this into account. About what year did you head over there?
I went over there in 1995. I went to Holland and started in the North Sea and continental Europe.
All right, so you were over there during the Arab Spring and during all the hot part.
I've seen quite a bit of civil unrest.
Okay, all right. So now, how are you going to take all this knowledge that you and apply that to the Texas Railroad Commission?
Well, I came home on a series of events that I can only describe as divine. I was living in Bali, Indonesia. I had incorporated my company in Singapore. I had my own well control company. I was in Nigeria in November of 21 on a blowout and was headed back home to Bali and had to come home because Mama had a medical issue, and I got back to Houston where she's living now, and I got COVID locked out and couldn't get back home, and there was a blowout in Crane County out in West Texas. The Railroad Commission had told the landowner that it was a water well, and through some mutual friends, they had called me and they knew that I was sitting in Houston not doing anything, and they asked me if I'd come out and cap this well for the landowner and how much I would charge, and I told them, I said, well, if y'all will fly me out there and feed me and put me up and get me what I need to work with, I said, I won't charge them nothing. I just wanted something to do. And I got out there, and they ended up finding out that this was an old Chevron well that had not been properly plugged, had blown out as a result of the over-injection of produced water in the ground. I got to spending some time out there. Another landowner had been having trouble with plugged and abandoned wells that were coming back to life. And I ended up getting involved on that 22,000 acre ranch, and we eventually filed a lawsuit against Chevron in December of 22. and we dug up 150 wells on that 22,000 acres, and I believed all of them to be leaking some form of gas, oil, or produced water, or all three. And the ones that weren't leaking or visibly leaking at surface, I believe were cross flowing underground. And so that's what I've pretty much been doing for the last 4 years, is working with landowners, fighting the railroad commission to try to get oil companies to do things the right way, and fighting major oil companies to try to get them to come in and do the right thing. We have a huge problem here in Texas, and our groundwater is being threatened. Not only being threatened by contamination from leaking wells, but also being threatened by the overproduction and use by industry. Currently, we're injecting 30 million barrels of produced water in the ground in Texas every day. Mm-hmm. Some of this water is coming from Louisiana, some of it is coming from New Mexico. And we really got to get a handle on this. Mother Earth's full. And as long as we continue to produce, we're going to continue to produce water. And historically, what we've done with it is we've injected it back into the ground, right. And we're just overfilling the formation with water. And it's these old legacy wells that were, some of them were maybe plugged properly at the time. Some of them I pulled cross ties out of them. Some of them wasn't plugged at all. They're coming back to life, and they're starting to flow, and they're starting to spill all this produced water and gases and hydrogen sulfide and a little bit of hydrocarbons, and they're starting to run out on the ground, and they're contaminating our groundwater. We've exposed evidence of a 290-foot water well, which was
they're contaminating surface water.
Yes, sir.
Right,
yes,
right.
And,
not groundwater, but surface water.
No. The surface water as well as the groundwater. And
okay.
What I was saying was we've found evidence of a 290-foot water well, which is in the Santa Rosa water aquifer out in West Texas.
Uh-huh.
The operator went to plug that water well and had 2.5 feet of crude oil in it. Now the railroad commission, the railroad commission accused me of dumping motor oil in it, and so we had our hydrogeologist come out, and the railroad commission came out, and they took samples of the water, and we sent our samples of the oil, and we sent it to the lab, and it came back fingerprinted the same oil from the Queen Sand Formation, which is at 2,500 feet. Huh. So essentially, what we've done is we have over-injected from our produced water disposal and from historic water flooding,
right,
which is an oil recovery.
Right.
We have over our water. We have fractured our formation so bad out there that it would be akin to if I took a cinder block and threw it through the windshield of your pickup, the cracks would just go everywhere. So we have no more sealing of our different formations, and fluids and gases are just free to run amok wherever they want, and they're getting into our groundwater. They're finding these old legacy well bores, and they're starting to manifest at surface. And I have tried and tried and tried. I've had the general manager of Railroad Commission of one of the districts come out. He's seen what we've been doing, and nothing happened. You have these big major oil companies that have, of course, we've been involved in that lawsuit. Mm-hmm. And all they want to do is cover up the problem. And the court case, the Houston Chronicle did an article on it. It's on my website. The court case has come to a conclusion. I was kind of hoping that we'd go to trial so we could get all these truths out to the public. But it's settled, and we're not going to get the whole story. But two truths that came out of this deal is number one, oil companies will spend landowners into bankruptcy, fighting them, and number two, the railroad commission will just sit back and allow them to do it. And this is just not the Texas way to do things.
All right. Let's okay. For one thing, what you're talking about, when the public reads about it, talks about it, hears about it, you're talking about what is commonly referred to as orphan wells, correct?
Well, not all of them are ARPing. And we'll make a distinction. An ARPing well is a well that has no owner. Okay, so uh, typically you'd have a major oil company drill a well, produce it for a period of time, and then pawn it off on a smaller operator who pawns it off on another smaller operator, and then it pawns it off on Joe Bob, and Joe Bob milks the last of it that he can get out of it, and then he can't afford to plug it, so he goes bankrupt.
Okay.
When he goes bankrupt, there's no viable operator. If there's no viable operator, that well becomes an ARPA and becomes a ward of the state, and then it becomes the burden of the taxpayer to plug it. A plug and abandon well would be if an operator had actually plugged at a well and abandoned it and then covered it up. Both of these wells are susceptible to this over injection pressure and can start leaking and flowing at any given time, depending upon the amount of injection that's in the area.
All right. Okay. I tell you what, let's take a quick break. Thank the folks who let us come on here every Saturday morning. We'll be right back.